BC home flipping tax.
It's sunny. It's sunny in Van.
Welcome everyone, it's Sunny in Van, where Vancouver real estate truly shines. On this episode, we're gonna go through BC home flipping tax. This is fairly new, so stay tuned for this information because it may be important to you. But before we get started, disclaimer alert, the content and information on this channel is for educational purposes only. This is not financial or professional advice. With that being said, let's get on with the show. Alright everyone, we are at the Government BC website and I'm going to quickly go through all this for you regarding the BC home flipping tax. Now this is last updated on here, it shows as February 22, 2024. The proposed BC home flipping tax applies to income you realize from the sale of properties in British Columbia if you have owned them for less than 2 years. The tax, which is subject to legislative approval, is separate and distinct from the federal property flipping rules and is not harmonized or administered with the federal or BC income tax. The overview. The BC home flipping tax will apply to income from BC properties sold on or after January 1st, 2025. Income from property purchased before the tax's effective date may be subject to the new tax if sold on or after January 1st, 2025 if the property is sold within 2 years unless an exemption applies. As previously announced in British Columbia's Homes for People's Plan, the intention of the tax is to discourage short-term holding of property for profit. How will the tax work? The BC home flipping tax will apply to income from the sale of property that was owned for less than 2 years. The tax rate will be highest for those who own properties for the shortest period and will decline the longer the property is owned. The tax rate will be 20% for income earned from properties sold within 365 days of purchase and will decline to zero between 366 and 730 days. You may be exempt from paying tax on income earned from the sale of your property if you are eligible for an exemption. Who will be subject to the tax? If you sell your property on or after January 1st, 2025, income earned from the sale of your property may be subject to the new tax if the property was purchased less than 2 years prior. Whether income earned from the sale of your property is subject to the tax depends on when you purchased the property. Examples: if you purchased a property on May 1st, 2023 and sold a property on January 31st, 2025, income you earn from the sale of a property would be taxable. If you decide not to sell a property until June 1st, 2025, then income you earn from the sale of the property would not be subject to the tax. Note, the seller of the property may be a BC resident or resident anywhere else in the world. Exemptions. You may be eligible for exemptions if there are life circumstances that motivate the sale of a property within 2 years, such as separation or divorce, death, disability or illness, relocation for work, involuntary job loss, change in household membership, personal safety, and insolvency. If you sell your primary residence within 2 years of purchase, you may also be able to exclude up to $20,000 when calculating your taxable income. The purpose of this tax is to support housing supply, not impede it. Exemptions will be provided for those who add to the household supply or engage in construction and real estate development. The above information does not reflect an exhaustive list of the exemptions that will be included in this new tax. More information on these exemptions and others will be provided in the future. Relevant properties. The tax will apply to income earned from the sale of properties with a housing unit, properties zoned for residential use, the right to acquire the above properties, such as an assignment of a purchase contract. The tax will include special rules for properties or portion of properties that have non-residential purposes. Income earned from the sale of properties located on reserved lands, treaty lands, and lands of self-governing Indigenous nations will not be subject to this tax. Alright everyone, let's head over to CREA, British Columbia Real Estate Association, and let's see what they have regarding the flipping tax. The BC home flipping tax is a 20% tax on the gain from the sale of a home within 1 year time horizon and a prorated tax on sales up to within a 2-year period. The tax will apply to both properties and assignments of contracts as in addition to any existing federal or provincial income taxes incurred from the sale of the property, including the federal anti-flipping tax. Exemptions will be available for certain life circumstances that might motivate the sale of a property within 2 years, including for added supply through the creation of rental accessory dwelling units. The BCREA Economics Department's preliminary analysis estimates the flipping tax will decrease home sales by between 1 to 2% over a 3-year period. Given the relative small impact, prices and housing attainability are essentially unchanged by the tax. This is unsurprising, given that short-term flipping represents a low share of sales activity, less than 2% in both Vancouver and Victoria. However, because the government has new implemented and disincentive to sell within a 2-year period after purchasing, there will be some potential sellers that are prompted to delay listing, resulting in a lower level of listings inventory than without the tax. As a result, home prices may increase with the flipping tax compared to a no tax baseline. Ultimately, the only way to prevent harmful short-term speculation in the housing market is to ensure housing is abundant. Our team plans to continue to analyze the flipping tax and provide updates when available. That's not our team, that's BCCREA, just to make sure. Property transfer tax exemptions. In principle, BCREA supports reduced property transfer taxes for first-time home buyers and people purchasing new constructed homes. However, while we're in the favor of measures that increase first-time home buyers' ability to purchase properties, it's critically important that housing supply is increased so they aren't caught in bidding wars to acquire those homes. More detail is needed on property transfer tax exemption for purpose-built rentals to understand its impact on housing attainability for British Columbians. BCREA will continue to advocate for more thoughtful and evidence-based policies that can genuinely move the needle on housing attainability and alleviate the housing crisis facing British Columbians. Between March 10 and 12, BCREA and delegates from real estate boards across the province will be taking part in our annual government liaison days in Victoria. During this time, we will be meeting with the MLAs representing all parties and advocating for the establishment of a permanent housing roundtable where stakeholders such as BCREA can advise on housing policy prior to its introduction and implementation. How will this BC home flipping tax affect you? Have you recently bought a property that you're looking to flip? Have you thought about investing into a property that you thought you can keep it for a short-term rental or a short-term investment for gains within a year or so? Will these taxes apply to you? Or do you have a personal scenario where you may be exempt? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope it brought you a lot of value regarding BC home flipping tax and it helped you out with your future plans when investing in real estate. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And if you want us to add anything else in our channel, feel free to comment below. And we will be sure to look into this for you. And if you have any questions about real estate, feel free to always contact us. Our team is ready to help you with your real estate journey. What did you think about our AI videos that we've been releasing for the last couple of weeks on a week-to-week basis? Now, this is a project in development. It will get better. It will provide you great value. We look into sunny spots. We look into forecasting about what your home value would be over 10 years. We also look at Sunny's Community Corner, local events that you can take your family and enjoy the moments and create new ones. We really do hope that new format does help you out. We'll continue to keep developing this show. We understand that you're looking for value, you're looking for great advice, that you're looking for content that will bring you a lot of value. And this show is going to evolve so that it does cover a lot of aspects that you may be looking for when purchasing a home. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, Sunny out.